welcome to the next video in a series of videos for the Kindy Orientation for 2021. My name is Patrick Morrison and we have met before. Today we're talking about all things reading, and there are three parts. The first is sight words, the second is quality literature, and the third is a home reader, and how all of those things in combination are important for your child in their reading progress. Now, in your support packs, particularly the one around English at home, inside you will see a note about the importance of sight words. Now, sight words are the most common words in our English language, and they are found in all texts. Now, they are incredibly important for students to know by sight because they are found in almost every book they will try to read. Now, this is the first set of those, the golden sight words, the most important of those, as they are the most frequent. It is really, really important the students know these by sight, particularly as they start in kindergarten. By the end of term 1 in kindy, they are to know gold and red sight words in order to read. So I would encourage you, maybe practice those gold sight words in the gap that we have coming up. Practice them in order and out of order as a good put of call. Now, it is important they are known by sight so the students don't waste energy trying to read words that are very familiar to them, and they can use all that energy reading unfamiliar words as they encounter them in a text. Next, we're going to look at quality literature. Now, it is important that at home you spend time reading with your child. Apart from the fact that it's a very enjoyable process and they will learn to love reading because of you, it's also really important as they start to develop meaning behind a text. So this book is called Ghostbear. It's a really great piece of literature. Obviously, they couldn't read it themselves. It is really important that you read it to them with great fluency and expression, and you really get them sucked into the book and hooked, so they start to develop some meaning as they read along with you. You might get them to point to some familiar sight words that they've seen before because you've already practiced them in the home. Now, that is your role in reading, and really they are a partner with you. You may all notice that as you read the text continuously, night after night, they may become very familiar and read the words along with you, so much so they may know the pattern of the words they might read back to you. That's a great process. They should become familiar with what we call concepts of print, turning the pages and becoming aware that the words on the page tell us the story. So though they won't read them typically, they are becoming much more familiar with what a book does and how we can all make meaning together. So it's very important that we read great literature to them and help them understand why we read, to make meaning and to love books. Now, as students arrive at kindergarten, they will begin to read. Now, please don't worry if they don't arrive at school reading. That's not your job, that's our job. Now, very early on in kindergarten, students will receive what we call a leveled reader or a level 1 reader. Now, inside the level 1 reader is basically some very familiar sight words, the golden words and red words that we are familiar with because we practiced, and they will be very, very simple. So this book's called Time for Dinner. Meow, meow, here we come. Now, I will say to you at home, these books, as they come home eventually in kindergarten, are not terribly engaging. The process and purpose of these books is for students to practice their knowledge of the sight words and then some unfamiliar words to practice reading skills they learn when they are at school. Now, the reason we don't just read these and completely do away with quality literature is because it's very difficult for them to develop meaning from these books. These books are about decoding, so understanding the words as they are written and then reading them. These books are about developing our meaning as we read. So we have to have a balance of both, you reading these to the students and they read along with you, and students practicing these almost independent of you. So it is important that if they get stuck on a word, if they go oink, oink, because they've seen the pig, and they say here, we, and then they pause, it is important we don't dive in and help them because they've got to use their sound waves practice, which I know you learned last week with Mrs. Scott, to have a go at the unfamiliar word. Give them a little bit of wait time, let them struggle a little bit, and encourage them to use their sound knowledge to sound it out. They will go through the whole leveled reader, and you might want to ask them a few questions. We can learn a lot more about that as we arrive at school for next year. Now, as some homework in the interim, there is also in the pack Helping Your Child to Learn to Read, a really valuable resource, and some homework for you. If you could spend 10 minutes every night reading some quality literature to your children and having them engage in the process, so they're not too passive, let them turn the pages, let them start to see some unfamiliar words and some sight words, that would be amazing. Ask them lots of questions. And if you've got questions, remember to shoot them through to us and we can help you answer them. Good luck.